In the world of Naruto, there are often cases when characters get their lives cut short before reaching the extent of what they could have been, and Kimimaro, the survivor of the Kaguya clan, is one of the most tragic yet interesting cases in my opinion. And in today's video, I'll see how strong he could have been. Now I'd like to give a quick baseline of what Kimimaro had managed to achieve by the time he was only 15 years old. Even when so sick Orochimaru was surprised he could even move, Kimimaro was still strong enough that Orochimaru didn't think that anyone on the Sasuke retrieval mission would be able to defeat Kimimaro, including characters like Naruto and Neji who are already Chunin class tier. Kimimaro is also clearly superior to the likes of Rock Lee when using the Drunken Fist, and there are statements you could, not necessarily saying you have to buy into it, but you could use those to argue that Drunk Lee might be comparable to Guy. Kimimaro also shows himself perfectly capable of handling a large number of QB Amp Naruto clones, again Naruto already being on that Chunin caliber. Finally, Kimimaro and Gaara have statements hyping them up, such as the strongest warriors in the ultimate spear and shield, so you can easily use that for greater support for Kimimaro scaling even when he's sick. However, again, this is all when he's so sick that he shouldn't even be up and about, so what does Edo Kimimaro, the closest to a hypothetical prime version, do? Well, he's actually able to dodge a Rasen Shuriken from KCM Naruto, with it being explicitly shown in the anime and implied to have happened in the manga. Naruto throwing things has also been able to increase the speed of the thrown object, like when he threw himself using Shadow Clones against Sasuke, so this likely just gets Kimimaro over KCM Naruto outright in the speed category. To wrap this section up, I have to give a brief recap of Kimimaro's main ability, the Shikosu Mako, the Kekkei of the Kaguya clan. It allows the user to manipulate Osteoclast, the cells that absorb bone, the Osteoblasts, the cells that create bone, as well as manipulate the bone's calcium density. Due to this, there are a virtually limitless number of applications for the ability. The databook also assigns good statements to the ability, like it being noted to be a perfect offense and defense, among others. Now, starting off, I think it's important for Kimimaro to get a broad arsenal of ninjutsu. Learning more techniques that Orochimaru uses would be a good start. For example, he could use the summoning jutsu to summon snakes in the Rashomon gates, and maybe find a unique construct of his own, probably a reptile or some creature capable of camouflaging and or digging. He can also use other techniques like the soft physique modification Orochimaru and Misumi use to stretch and maneuver their bodies in a variety of manners, which compare nicely with his Kekkei. He could even learn sealing and curse mark based techniques to paralyze opponents, and finally learn other snake based techniques like the Goro Rebirth, the Twin Snake Mutual Death technique, or the Striking Shadow Snakes. Out of the 5 basic chakra natures, I think Earth, Fire, and Lightning were the most beneficial. Fire and Lightning have high burning and piercing power respectively, and Earth Release is highly malleable and being readily available for usage. Basic applications of the natures are well and good, like Fireball Jutsu or the basic lightning waves, but Kimimaro should also try to incorporate taijutsu in the mix too. For example, he can cover his fist in flames and then strike the enemy, even combining the fist with his Kekkei by covering his arm and hand in a spiky gauntlet, thus increasing the resulting burn and striking damage. He can also turn his fire fist into a mid or long range attack by shooting a stream of flames. You need to combine the flames with the ribcage he uses against Rock Lee to further damage enemies should they keep going with their attacks. We also see from Jiraiya that Earth Style can be used to make mud-based traps, so Kimimaro doing this to immobilize people and then using his bone bows would be good. Lightning Release saw this be a good amplifier to the piercing power of his bones, even giving them a numbing effect when they hit their enemies, like Sasuke's Chidori Kusanagi. Now, to progress his Kekkei, he should experiment more with the shapes of his bones. For example, he can give or make semi-autonomous creatures. Think of Crollo's indoor fish ability for Hunter x Hunter, and they would surround him, being able to extend to bite at his enemies. He can even hide these bunny fish in a swamp produced by Earth Style, and then have them rise up to bite their target. He could also make bony, bat-like creatures and combine them with Fire Release to do long-range burn damage. Kimimaro could also do something akin to Muzan from Demon Slayer, making bony webs come out from his back, being able to bend and attack at long ranges. Another possible thing is to make doppelgangers out of his Osteoclast and Osteoblast, and upon taking enough damage, the clones either morph into extra weapons for Kimimaro to use, or then into bone fragments to hit the opponent. I'll go into more of these abilities in a second though. Something I'm not entirely sure about the logistics of, but I still like to mention, is the possibility of Kimimaro using bones as pseudo chakra receivers or carriers for the curse marks he can place on opponents. If possible, he can even incorporate this into his bone clones, and upon their detonation, the bone shards would hit the opponent and then paralyze him with the curse marks, or even have his bony fish or bats do the same thing. To regress his natural physicality, he likely already be receiving tests and experimentation from Orochimaru, like Sasuke was during the time skip, though he could take a page out of Rock Lee's book by training using weight, or maybe even altering the density of his own bones for pseudo weight training. While the 800 gates might not be something he can access, he could still use a deadly if unorthodox option in the Drunken Fist. While it is hyped up and given a crazy addiction, it is also only a C rank taijutsu, meaning that most Chunin should be able to master it just fine. Yeah, Lee is talented in taijutsu, but Kimimaro could possibly close this gap by way of his Kekkei Genkai, making bone attacks appear at unorthodox and unique angles. I can even see Kimimaro be able to enter and exit the drunken state at will via some kind of drug or pill developed by Kabuto or Orochimaru. Now, speaking of taijutsu, Kimaro's deadly stability may be in more unguardable methods like Naruto's Frog Slap or the Hyuga clan's Gentle Fist. This would be something I call the Lily's Valley Dance. It's a graceful strike that doesn't seem to hurt the enemy much on the surface, but that's by design, as Kimimaro's chakra resonate throughout their body to manipulate the bones, potentially piercing vital points like lungs or the heart. He also might be able to make the enemy's bones take on the properties seen by certain bone diseases like osteoporosis, making the bones become brittle and weak. I'm not entirely sure if he could use the pseudo chakra receivers to transmit the chakra to make the bones take on the form of the brittle state. It would be an osteoporosis, since the chakra receivers themselves seem to be the result of yin and yang release being applied, though maybe the inclusion of the Kekkei Genkai as the baseline could help make this more feasible. If this is possible, I could see him also being able to effectively puppeteer people by manipulating the chakra and their bones to make their bones move, albeit it won't be as finessed as something like Sasori's human puppets or Pain's corpse puppets. To close out the video, I'd like to advance Kimimaro's most deadly moves, the Bracken Dance and the Bone Drill, by combining them with specific chakra natures. The Bone Drill could be hardened using Earth Release, similar to how Kakuzu does with Diamond Morph, or amplified by Fire Release to increase burn damage, or maybe even Lightning to increase the piercing damage. As for the Bracken Dance, he could have Lightning Release shoot out from each of the bone pillars, stunning those unfortunate enough to still be alive. Had he continued to grow, I think Kimimaro would undoubtedly become one of the strongest ninja in history. I personally think that by the time of the Boruto era, he'd be as strong, if not stronger, than someone like Gaara or Darui. Hope you guys liked the video. Have a good day and